Week in Startups is brought to you by Black Tux, premium rental suits and tuxedos delivered. To get $20 off your purchase, visit theblacktux.com/twist. And LinkedIn, more than the world's largest professional network, it's also a better way to find great talent. Go to linkedin.com/twist and get a $50 credit toward your first job post.
Hi, everyone. I'm Monique Woodard. I'm an investor, formerly at 500 Startups, now on to building something new for founders and investors. That'll be amazing. And I'm excited to be here. This is my second time here at Founder.University. And it's always a good time. I always meet great founders. So I'm excited to see what you all are building, see what you all are working on, and see how I can be helpful.
But no news yet on the new.
No.
But the new is coming.
News is good news.
No news is good news. I have a little bit of inside information, but I won't say anything. But thanks for coming back. You always have great feedback. If you've decided to come up here on stage, you've, by default, taken the red pill. This means you give us permission to be candid with you. Tell us your name, Michelle.
Yeah, let's see. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's put it here.
Okay.
I can show you.
Michelle.
Hi, my name's Michelle Mell.
Okay.
I'm the founder and CEO of X.
Where are you from, Michelle?
Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Flew in today?
Flew in tonight and last night.
Great.
And actually,
Ready
there's
for
a good
3 big
story
days?
there.
Okay, we'll get it
Yeah.
during lunch. Okay, for now, you have 2 minutes on the clock, and you're going to give us an overview of your startup, and then we're going to give you our patented, candid feedback.
Okay.
It's going to be brutal.
I didn't be hard.
Does that
Yeah,
work?
why don't you hold the microphone?
All right. Let's do this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sit on
She
this.
has hardware,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
All
I can
right.
see that.
I got this.
And for everyone, remind everyone, keep the microphone as close to
Because we have a live stream, and for the people on the live stream, hi.
Okay.
It'll be like this. It'll be like
Okay, I understand what you're saying. What you're talking about.
You got it.
3, 2, go.
Go. All right. So what I'm here to show you today is a small, compact, portable device that integrates thousands of dollars worth of physical therapy, exercise equipment, and this little tiny package that folds for storage and transport. Okay. All combined with a mobile coaching application so that we can keep people inspired as they're working through disability health conditions. So my journey starts with a lot of hardware in my leg and realizing that the PT process is completely broken from the time that I got a blood clot in the hospital bed from not moving enough to being months and months and months of on crutches and non-weight bearing with a little kid in tow. And what this did is it opened my heart and my mind up to people who are battling serious health conditions where exercise is the prescription. So Parkinson's disease, this is Bob, one of our first customers. This is Judith, she shakes, she has tremors, she's had her knee replaced, turning furniture into full quality exercise equipment that matches the quality of physical therapy clinics. Okay, MS, another one. This lying down position is critical for exercising in bed and for lots of positions where people need to exercise while laying down. All guided with live, on-demand videos. This is supported in both our iOS and Android application. And serving up 24/7 access to physical therapy training videos. So these are PTs where people can come and say, all right, I tore my ACL, I tore this, jump into these videos, we'll teach you exactly how to use us, because we have over 150 different positions. We've had some progress to date. We had a successful Kickstarter. We shipped almost immediately. We have 150 units that we've sold. I'm on Thursday installing after a trial at Stanford.University, which is a huge win for us, and also in PT clinics. We've got some organic revenue. I've been full-time since September. So before that, working 2 full-times to pay for this whole gig. And we have our patent. We have been through 4 successful rounds of manufacturing. My background, I spent 20 years working with tech startups, pitching you very early in the days in this ask.com kind of period, aging myself here. And then my founder is in the manufacturing business. There's absolutely no reason that we can't be in every hospital, every physical therapy clinic, and working with people at home who are battling injury, conditions, and disabilities.
All right, let's give Michelle a big round of applause. You want to go first, Monique?
Do you have a path? Is this direct to consumer? Or do you have a path for this being covered by insurance?
So-
Tell me how you're thinking about,
Let me get this back.
and what is the price point?
So it starts at $7.99. And then our path, we started as direct-to-consumer on Kickstarter, and what happened is the people who have gravitated toward our device, they're aging, active baby boomers. They find themselves with a disability or a health condition, and hospitals are bringing us in. For example, Stanford found us right? Bringing us in. There's a huge trend in hospitals to get patients moving immediately post-chemo treatment, post-ACL, post-hip replacement, post-NIP. I mean, you name it. They want them moving in the ICU. So they're bringing us in, and we have a patent that prevents it from scooting, which happens with most portable equipment. So that patent has allowed us to focus on extremely high quality that makes us work in the hospital, PT clinic, and then we want the patient to take it home too.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Insurance.
Insurance. Right now, we're not doing insurance right now. That hospital trend has happened over the last 3 months with 3 university hospitals bringing us in. And it's something that we're going to be talking to them about, like, do we need to do this now? Right now in the clinic, the PT can actually charge for every moment that the patient is on our device, unlike other exercise equipment, because it's engaging more musculoskeletal system. So it pays for itself.
Okay. Pronounce the name of the company.
EXI, it's short for exercise cycling.
Great. Terrible name. I got a new name for you.
Okay.
Stronger.
Stronger.
Just call it Stronger.
All right.
Or something that's aspirational
Yep.
and that people can pronounce without asking.
Okay.
Super important for names. What I loved about your story is it's personal, right? Hey, I'm assuming that was your X-ray with the hardware.
Crooked here,
right?
too.
So we're like, okay, this person understands this intimately. I like that you did a Kickstarter because that's hard. Mm-hmm. And you sold and you had advocates, so that's good. It was modest, but it means that you have chutzpah to go do that. I like that you've gone through 4 rounds of iteration on the product. Where is it made?
It's made in the U.S. There's
Great.
one piece that's made in Taiwan.
Perfect. And what's the BOM, the build of materials on
We're
this
looking at about
product?
$350.
Currently
and that's
$350.
$350, and that's not at scale. So
Got
as soon
it.
as
Of
we
course
get to
not,
scale, that comes down.
And then it's $799. Now, when you showed the app, which needs 1 more or 2 more revs in terms of design, that's something to work on. You said it's live.
Yeah.
Does that mean do you mean it's actually live? There's an instructor doing classes like Peloton, or do you mean it's live, like it's doing stuff while I'm actually working out?
So we are
That was
live
confounding.
right now. It is a lot of me. The way that we have, so at XD.live, we can open it up to anybody who can take over our platform. So my goal is to have people with
Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to
Parkinson's-
stop you right now.
Okay.
One of the most important things when dealing with investors to answer their question.
Okay.
So I think what you mean is the app is live in the store, but it's not a live experience
No,
where
it's
you're video
live.
live. Okay, so then you should just answer that.
Yeah, it's live. It's live.
You're
YouTube,
live.
Facebook, on our website, live everywhere.
Is the instructor live?
Yes.
So I'm watching a video of a live instructor?
Yes.
So then it doesn't scale, like I don't just do it on my own. I'm using a personal trainer or a physical therapist?
You can we have it where you can go watch physical therapists, where you can go watch live training, where you can go and click on videos and follow the instruction, kind of like you're watching an old school Jane Fonda video.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So your job when talking to investors,
Okay.
and this is important because I see this happen all the time with founders, they're not clear.
Okay.
You have to be concise and clear when they ask you questions. So if I'm saying, is it live like Peloton? You should say, you can do it 3 ways. Live like Peloton, on tape like Jane Fonda.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
Or 3, you can just run through it like a Runkeeper or any other app without a live instructor.
Got it.
How much does it cost to have the app? Do you have a subscription service yet?
Right now, the app is free, and the goal long term is to have a subscription-based model based on your injury condition and a disability.
That was a good answer, right?
Okay.
So the name of the game is how short can your answer be, so they get more questions from the investors. When you give short, concise answers, what happens is your credibility goes up. If you give rambling answers where it's unclear, credibility goes down. So in your mind, you ever see the Black Mirror episode where they're rating each other, the dystopian crazy one?
No.
I don't advise watching Black Mirror. It's very disturbing. But yeah, it's also awesome. But in investors' mind, you tell me if I'm wrong or right, there's like a little credibility rating that's going up and down. Some people might call it signaling. Some people might call it like fitness. And what happens is when you're concise and tight with those answers, and you'll watch this video and you'll see it and you can improve on it very easily, the conversation just starts trending towards, I want you to meet my partners. Mm-hmm. And when you're giving babbling answers or unclear answers, what they're thinking is, I don't want to send this person to my partner. So be super conscious of that. Mm-hmm. Let's give her a big round of applause.
And so here,
You can answer that.
one tip that I would give you. Write down all of the questions that investors ask you that you don't quite have good answers for, that you're not tight enough on. and get a tight answer, and then just keep practicing it. And when new questions come up, just write them down in that little Google Doc and keep putting in answers.
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
Rehearsing, important. And in fact, at our incubator, we record. See these robotic cameras back there we invested in? We record not only you pitching, but then I put one of these right here. And then the investors are in the front row. And we record their reactions and their questions. And then you get to watch from home, in between the sessions, yourself and the reaction, which then lets you get better. And it's also just very hard to watch yourself on camera. Let me take a moment to thank the Black Tux. If you're having a wedding or an event where you need to wear a suit or a tuxedo, the Black Tux, tux.com, is your answer. High quality rental suits and tuxedos ordered online and then delivered to your doorstep. Create your look or choose from tons of stylist selected outfits. Now, suits usually retail for $1,200, but at the Black Tux, they start at just $95. Expert customer care has your back every step of the way. Free home try-on. You can see the fit and feel the quality of the suit months before the event. After ordering, your suit will arrive 14 days before your event, so you don't have any agita, easy peasy. And if anything is less than perfect, the Black Tux will send you a free replacement right away, with plenty of time to get that suit or tux before your event. When the event's over, you drop your rental box in the mail, and boom, shipping is free both ways. So here's your call to action. Get $20 off your first purchase. Visit theblacktux.com/twist, theblacktux.com/twist. That's theblacktux.com/twist for $20 off your purchase. And remember, premium rental suits and tuxedos delivered to you with no drama, easy peasy. It works pretty well. People here are using it. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode. Okay, tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Sharmi Albrechtson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Smart Girls.
You know she's a great founder because she's already getting the plugs in.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from many places, but now the neighborhood.
The hood. Great.
Silicon Valley. I'm from the Valley. I'm a Valley
From
girl.
the Valley. Got it. Okay. 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, go.
Okay. So hi, I'm Sharmi Albrechtson. I'm the founder and CEO of Smart Girls, a digital learning company for girls. So one of our members of staff is actually Carrie Byron. Say hi. She's from Mythbusters and was with the Mythbusters for 10 years, and we're so happy to have her on board. And she's going to be our spokeswoman and chief creative officer, coming up with really cool and new and fun toys. So we were on Shark Tank. Some of you may have seen us November this year, and we got a deal with Daymond John. We've done more than 1.2 million in sales. We have 4.5 stars on Amazon. And we've done 6 times sales from 2016 to 17. So traction, right? So what we're doing is we're actually looking at the problem. And one of the biggest problems we have today in schools is that girls are not getting into tech. We have so many jobs available, and the girls are, we have the fewest number of women taking STEM educations today. What to do about this? The gender gap starts really early. By age 11, 70% of girls actually start stepping away from STEM. So we want to excite, ignite, and engage them. And that's what we're doing with our products. So we've made a software and hardware platform that connects verbal emotive thinking with coding robots. So if you look at the market, we're looking at 3 different areas. We've got retail, direct-to-consumer, and PITSCO. And PITSCO is actually to schools, after-school programs, and coding camps. And if we look at that, for example, enrichment products, it's a $1.5 billion business, and educational toys is $2.5 billion. If we just gave in 5% of that market, we're looking at about a $200 million a year business. So we have traction, as I mentioned, and we can see that, before we even got on Shark Tank, we had a 40% increase in sales month to month. This is our amazing team. Me, Mythbusters, Carrie Byron, and Martin Padell, who is our CMO. He's an ex-VP Hasbro, EVP Leapfrog. Thank you.
Great. Big round of applause. Nicely done, Sharmi.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like to go first?
I think your pitch is in the wrong order. I want to hear what the product is up front, and you really leaned into the Shark Tank and the Mythbusters, and I didn't care at that point. Because I didn't know what it was. So if you tell me what it is, and then you get me excited about what it actually is, and then you go for, and we were on Shark Tank and got a deal from Damon John, and we have this great person from Mythbusters. By then, I'm already sort of interested, but you told me that before I was even interested. And so you kind of lost me. So I think, and then there are some other slides that I would have rearranged a little bit as well.
It's a difficult pitch in 2 minutes. In the incubator, we do it for 3, and you'll get better and better at it. One thing I would advise you on is in our industry, there's a lot of soft metrics, high fives and awards. Being on Shark Tank is what real investors consider like a soft metric, right? It's like, nah, they're entertaining people. Is it real or not? Getting a celebrity endorser, some cases real, some cases not. In this case, actually, I think it's very real because it's aligned. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm trying to think of an example, but like Whoopi Goldberg doing flus and she doesn't know what it is. This is Web 1.0. I'm dating myself. People who know what flus is understand. It was a virtual currency, actually, now that I think about it. People may or may not remember the commercials. So I think with your product, I think it's very important to get right into the meat and potatoes of it, which is, hey, we have 1.2 million in sales. How much does the product cost? So I'm going to ask you these questions. Let's try this credibility game. How much does the product cost?
$79.99.
Great. Is there a subscription or is it just $79.99 one time?
Right now it's one time, and we're working on a subscription project.
Perfect. What is the build of materials? What's your profit on this?
So landed, it's $20, and our profit's about $30.
Great. And how much have you raised to date?
We've raised $1 million so far.
Perfect. And how many full-time employees?
We are 5 people.
Perfect. Now I have the real context, the numbers that matter for an investor. Because now in my mind, and you probably had this happen, you're like, okay, I know exactly what stage the startup's at. 5 people, they're burning $40,000 a month, $40,000 a month.
You got it.
Of course I do. That's why I do this for a living. It's my like little parlor trick. You want to know how you do it? You can do it too. How many full-time employees? Where are you based? Based in the Bay Area? 5 employees, $10K each, but they're probably pretty cheap because they're on a dime.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
early
They're
stage.
getting
So they probably spend about
shares.
$7K per employee, so about $35K. They burn less month. Probably working out of an office suite at WeWork or something like that with 2 desks.
Yes.
It's costing them $800 a month. You can just easily back into this. If they were in Toronto, you could be like, oh, they're only burning $20K a month. Move to Toronto, twice the runway. So this is a business that the professional investors, because it's got purpose and because it's feel good, what do they call these businesses?
Social
impact.
Impact. It's an impact business.
Yeah.
So you are going to be in the impact bucket, which is, if I have permission to speak candidly, a lot of the VCs are going to go, high five, totally will make a donation and buy 4 of those for my nieces and my cousins and whatever, but they're not going to give you the big check, and you want the big check, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So what I hope for you is to reconstruct this into a marauding capitalist business. It doesn't come across as a marauding capitalist business that people will want to invest in. But I have the absolute secret for you on how to do that. Would you like the secret?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Subscription-based businesses are all the rage in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
You know this.
Yes.
And Com.com, which I was the first major investor in, we own 8% of that company. We did it through our syndicate when it was $5 million. Everybody told me I was an idiot. I was going to lose my money. Question on Quora. Will Jason lose $400,000 investing in Com.com? They just closed around at $250 million. So that $400,000 position is worth $18 or $19 million.
Yeah.
It's a couple more Teslas. So it's a good thing. Like, and this is the kind of bets we like to make, which is other VCs don't understand it. Now all the VCs totally get, they're like, oh yeah, of course meditation is a big deal.
Yeah.
What happened between the time we invested and now? The App Store added subscriptions. So the hardware product is actually, even though it draws people in, it's a huge liability because you're going to get put into the social impact bucket and the hardware bucket. These are 2 buckets that VCs will not say they hate, but in fact they hate.
And the children's toys women bucket. Like, they also hate that.
You said it, not me.
Well,
they hate toys.
I can say it.
You can say it. But they do hate toys, right? And I'm not going to say they hate women, but statistics are not good.
I'm doomed.
Like I said, you said it, not me.
Might as well just go home now.
It got real. It just got really real fast.
Got really real.
So here's how we
Should
fix
I
it
cry
and make it
now, or
moronic.
what?
If this was a $10 a month subscription that taught you all the things you're doing with the hardware, and the hardware is just like an add-on you can get later, but you get that flywheel going in the App Store, oh my God, does it print money. So we were looking at comm and we're like, this is where signaling comes in. We're like, okay, that worked. Weird topic. People don't believe in it. We can have conviction because the founders love it. Then we had this company come 2 years ago, and they were called Fitbod. And these were like a bunch of these CrossFit maniacs. You know these people.
Yeah.
They can't shut up about it. They're like eating paleo something, cavemen. And they're super annoying. They came to us with this Fitbod thing, and it was for people who are into CrossFit. And it's like $10 a month. And they record like every single rep they do in the app. And they were charging they was charging $3 a month and whatever a year. So he said, hey, if you raise the price, we'll invest, come to the incubator. Now they're also printing money. And now other investors are looking at them like, oh my God, these guys are doing $100,000 a month or whatever. We need to get in on it. So for you, if you can figure out how to take the experience with the hardware, eliminate the hardware, make it like an upsell, if you want to get it, you can. But then really drill into that. Can I get people to pay $10 a month to learn how to do STEM for girls and even for boys? So you could have two different products. It's the same curriculum, I'm assuming, or close to it, right? It's just the skin.
Different.
Or is it different?
No, it's totally different. Actually, and
Okay, perfect.
That's a problem with the 2 minute is I couldn't.
Yeah,
really
no,
go
I
into,
actually wrote down the verbal, emotive.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
I
that's
wrote that
for
down
girls,
because I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And anytime I don't know something, I go write it down and then I search on the internet and go to
Right.
Wikipedia
Okay,
and
yeah.
check it out. So,
Yeah.
I'll figure out what that verbal,
Okay.
emotive thing is. I can guess, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to know the exact
It's
details.
like applied math, basically, to try to teach them through stories.
Love it.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to guess. So, telling math through stories in an app for $10 a month, and then having game mechanics in it
Yeah.
will be a product that is undeniable and it will rip in terms of revenue. In this business, we'll get, put into a bucket that is unfundable. Let's give her a big round of applause. Wow, that got real quick.
It did. That's me. That's what I do.
I know. I think about 3 people just took their names off the list. 3 more spots for other entrepreneurs. Get in there. Yes, LinkedIn jobs. I love LinkedIn. I've been spending a ton of time on LinkedIn. I love the new feed, by the way, where you can share information and see what your friends are up to. But putting aside their amazing new feed, that's highly addictive, I want to talk today about hiring. We all know that hiring is hard. We have many open positions here, and it takes us months to find high-quality candidates. And you know that your business is only as strong as the people you have working for you, like Emmy Award-winning producer Jackie and Jason Monique, who runs the incubator. We have all these great people here. Well, where are those great people? They're on LinkedIn. It's the world's largest professional network, and it's the best way to find great talent. All that talent is sitting there ready and waiting. Yes, 70% of the US workforce is already on LinkedIn. And if you're hearing my voice, you have a LinkedIn page. I know you do. And that means you also know that you're going to find quality candidates on LinkedIn. Businesses rate LinkedIn jobs 40% higher than job boards at delivering quality candidates. And you know why this is. It's because it's the world's largest professional network. So just ask the hundreds of thousands, yes, hundreds of thousands of businesses that have posted to LinkedIn jobs over the past year. 22 million professionals, and this is the amazing number, view and apply to jobs on LinkedIn every week. I'm not saying 22 million people log on to LinkedIn every week. That would be an amazing number in and of itself. No, 22 million people look at the jobs and apply to the jobs on LinkedIn every week. And that's in every industry. So if you're not using LinkedIn for your hiring needs, you are missing out. Here's your call to action, and this is a good one. I want you to go to linkedin.com/twist, linkedin.com/TWIST. When you go there, you're going to get a $50 credit towards your first job posting. Think about that. $50 is sitting there waiting for you. So I want you to pull over. I want you to get in front of your computer. I want you to get offline at Blue Bottle or wherever you're having your espresso and go to linkedin.com/twist, linkedin.com/twist, and get that $50 credit. Terms and conditions apply, of course, like any of these things. And I can tell you, we've had an incredible run finding highly talented people on LinkedIn.
and using LinkedIn Jobs. So get that $50 and give it a shot. Let me know how it goes for you. LinkedIn.com/twist. Hey, and go follow me. Add me as a contact on LinkedIn. You can find me, Jason Calacanis. I'm right there. And you'll see how often I'm on there. I'm posting clips from the show. I'm asking questions. LinkedIn is just on fire. So go ahead and go to LinkedIn.com/twist for your $50 credit today. All right, let's get back to this amazing episode.
Okay, tell us your name.
Nice and close to that.
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica Alvarez.
Where are you from?
I live in LA, but I'm from Guatemala City.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the flight up. You have 2 minutes on the clock. You'll hear my ringer when time's up. So just finish your sentence when you hear that ringer. 3, 2, go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Veronica, founder of Hablamos Espanol, and we connect your business with U.S. Latinos. Imagine the last time you visited a doctor, a lawyer, or a realtor. Some of the most important decisions in your life were made. Now, imagine doing that with someone who doesn't speak your language and doesn't understand your cultural values. Pretty hard to imagine. Unfortunately, it happens to millions of U.S. Latinos. U.S. Latinos face, Spanish speakers face language barriers. English speakers, they're looking for businesses that are culturally relevant to them. And businesses are having a hard time reaching to this audience. Our solution is a local and bilingual web app where users can easily connect with bilingual professionals. And for professionals, they can easily create an English and Spanish profile, and they have access to real-time analytics. And the US is actually the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world and will become the first one by 2050. By 2021, this market is expected to spend $1.8 trillion. Our business model, paid listings for professional services and big-ticket items, doctors, realtors, autos, insurances, and more. And we're going to offer free listings for community services and other small businesses, consulates, churches, mechanics, quinceañera planners. Our market size bottom up, we're going to go after the 4 million Latino-owned businesses in the US and the 26 million non-Latino-owned businesses who also happen to have bilingual staff in their businesses. And the total expected ARR is 145 million. Our traction, we started in LA with doctors and lawyers, and visitors from January to May have been increasing. And this is my team.
Okay, let's give her a big round of applause. Nicely done. Would I be correct in summarizing this as a Latino version of Yelp?
Yes, Yelp for Latinos.
Got it. Next time, say that right up front so we get it. But are you going to be the destination, or are you going to translate stuff and then put it onto Yelp, or both?
We're going to be the destination to connect the consumer to the business,
Got
just
it.
like in Yelp.
So you need to acquire those customers.
Correct.
Okay, great. Monique.
I'm going to give you feedback on the presentation first. So get to know your deck so that you're not reading it.
Okay.
And so that you're telling investors things that don't appear on the deck, not just reading what they can already see.
Got it.
Because you were doing a lot of like this, and
Right.
we can read that. So what is it in the deck that you want us to know? That's not a question you have to answer now. I'm just...
Yeah. And I'll give you a tip for that. I think it's a good tip. What I like to tell people is one slide, one idea. Mm-hmm. So, and have that trigger word in your brain. So, total addressable market, customer acquisition, unit economics. And if you have that as the title of each slide, then it saves you even more. So then when you issue practice, you're like, okay, I'm going to show them the problem. There's a problem slide. I'm going to show them the solution slide. I'm going to show them the market side. I'm going to show them our unit economics, and then I'm going to show them our go-to market plan. Then you'll be really tight. This is a diamond in the rough, I would say. Like, design a little bit rough. Business model, like $1,000 is super expensive. Lawyers and doctors, $1,000 not expensive because each customer is worth $1,000. But for other people, if you say, hey, I want $100 a month, $1,000 a year, they're going to be like, no way. But I like the boldness of $1,000. So that ticked off for me. Hold on.
Sorry.
You'll get your chance. Good entrepreneur. I like that too. What that ticked off for me was, oh man, this person is marauding capitalist, right? And so people will not say this, but they are, and you'll back me up here, they're just looking at it going, how does this print a bunch of money and hit $1 million? And then how do we add a zero? How do we add one more zero? And then finally, how do we add that last zero so that I can be in a decacorn? That's literally what's going through the mind of investors. They will never tell you this. But the only calculation they care about is, how does this get to 100 million in revenue with 50 million in profits? Just keep that in your mind when you're thinking about your own business. 100 million top line, 50 million bottom line. Why is this important? 20 times 50 million in profit equals 1 billion. 1 billion equals unicorn. Unicorn, if they own 6%, 20%, equals 60 to $200 million. Let's say it's a VC, they get $200 million. 20% of $200 million is $40 million. That's a good start for them. That's all they're thinking about. So when you're thinking about your own business, if you want to understand, after all the pleasantries, after all where you're from, where'd you come up with the idea, that's all that's in their mind. And so for this business, it is possible to get to 100 million. In fact, you showed it. So that's why there was a really great moment in this presentation where I was like, okay, unfundable right now by VCs, but if it got polished and it got some modest traction, and like when you showed the little bar chart with 2 months in it, I was like, ooh, is that one customer going to 4 or 10 going to 40? Which one is it?
It's users.
Users.
But we already have...
Not revenue.
No, we
Got it.
already have doctors and we're focusing on...
Any
users
revenue yet or
having
pre-revenue?
15,000 total.
Perfect. Now, what most people, when they hear 15,000, it's like, oh, when I hear 15,000, I'm like, oh, I could help them 10x that. 10x is 150.
150.
And then pretty easy to go from 150 to 10x that. So it's...
And this is just in LA for 2 categories.
Yeah.
We
Beautiful.
have realtors, autos, insurance people asking us to build those verticals for them. There's no other consumer app for this market.
Nobody's ever done this.
No, and business. I've been in the intersection of this technology and Latino market for 18 years. I was the first product manager at Yahoo to target this market.
Yeah.
Credibility.
Building tons of products for 5 years. And in LA, I built a fertility clinic for this targeting this market, and from revenues taken from $0 to $5 million a year. So
Wow. So what's great about you
thank you.
is that you work at Yahoo
Yes.
and you understand where the bodies are buried. And by that, I mean, like, you know where all the secret little pockets of money are. Because Yahoo had, like, such a sprawling business. And they were like, you'd open, like, some door and there'd be like, here's $140 million. You open, like, another door, and be like, oh, there's $80 million in this door. And, like, it was just a mess of, like, little businesses all making 7 and 8 figures. And it was...
This was one of those pockets.
Exactly. So let's give her... Anything else?
Yeah. I love this. This is a market that I'm betting on too. I think as we shift to majority minority, the Latino market is going to be huge, and not a lot of people are doing it. So I like it. It needs a little work.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
that's why you're here. So
Right. And at
Let's
a
give
time-
her one big round of applause.
Can I just say one thing?
No. You're done. I got to stop you. The only way you're getting off stage is if I stop you. So if it's one more thing, it's going to be 2 more. I know founders. There's one thing I know. They will use every moment with that microphone. But you already got the second meeting. See, that's the key. What you're going for when you're pitching investors in this format or in the elevator or on the escalator or wherever you're pitching them is you're just trying to get the second meeting or their email address to send them your deck. So keep that in mind. And when you've won, you can let go. Okay, I got the email. I'm going to get the second meeting. Tell us your name.
I'm Helen Wong. Our company is based in the Seattle area.
Okay, welcome. 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, go.
Great. Do you know that American children are only in the school for 1,000 hours and every year, and parents work 2,000 hours every year? Well, for me, I work 4,000 hours every year. And for this 1,000 hours of no school and no parents, and that's very painful for all parties involved in this ecosystem to manage, for the parents who consume it, for the enrichment providers who offer it, as well as for the schools and PTAs who host after-school enrichment on premise. So this is a big business, $67 billion of spending every year, and with a significant unmet demand. Six Crickets provides an ecosystem solution, providing services and products to every party involved here. So for the schools who host after-school enrichment, we provide an after-school enrichment tool for the enrichment coordinator at the school to operate a mini marketplace. So for the parents, they have a one-stop shop for after-school enrichment. And for providers, they get automatically paid in real-time rosters. And for schools, for student safety, and they have central real-time roster across enrichment providers. This is our key mechanism to bootstrap supply and demand in our ecosystem. And for enrichment providers, we support them with the enrichment online registration and CRM tool. They install a register button on their website, similar to Eventbrite. For parents, wherever they need enrichment, they have a one-stop shop. They have search engine, a scheduler that solves their scheduling puzzle, powered by artificial intelligence, and they can register all classes, no matter who offer them. Our business model is a 2% transaction fee from our SaaS tools for providers and schools, and 12% commission from the providers on our marketplace. We have reached $6.8 million of sales volume, growing 75% quarter to quarter, serving 40 schools, hundreds of providers, and so on. This is a projection, team, computer scientists, passionate parents, passionate volunteers, parents volunteers. Here.
Okay, let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank you.
So it's a directory of after-school activities and a booking platform like Eventbrite. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's white labeled for the school on their website.
No.
Okay.
Our label.
It's a destination.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
No, it's a school name powered by 6 Crickets. It's
Got
like
it.
Eventbrite.
Got it. Okay. And you get 2% of...
From transactions for the school services and for the provider services.
12% for what services?
12% on the online marketplace, we bring business to providers, so we earn commission.
Got it.
12% commission.
What are the top 3, in order, top 3 providers on the platform?
Top 3 providers in the platform.
Yeah. Either by category or specific.
Small providers.
Would it be a tutor? Would it be...
No, it's people who offer group classes.
Group classes?
Yes.
So these are group classes. What would be an example of a group class?
Like a chess class, and like a robotics class, like a Lego class.
Okay, so this was a confusing presentation.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Most entrepreneurs, when they're starting out, it's a little bit confusing. One of the ways to make things less confusing is to use an explicit examples. Examples matter.
Great.
And if you can come up with the examples, then we don't have to. So we're sitting here going, okay, wait, what is the use case here?
Right.
Okay, I'm trying to read this tiny little website, and it's not mobile, so that's like a little bit of a tell, by the way. Like, it's not a mobile, it looks like an old school website kind of thing. I would say, meet Jason. Jason's a chess tutor. Meet Monique. Monique is the principal of this elementary school. She's constantly getting asked for chess tutors. She has the chess tutor they had, who was great, just retired. They don't have a chess tutor. Now she has 3 chess tutors on her platform. She gets introduced to 6 Crickets. And she also has a backgammon, a math, a fencing, and these other ones who are all in the Bay Area. All of the prices are pre-negotiated, and we vetted them, and we did their background checks, their security checks, so we know that they don't have to do that, because that's the number one concern that every principal has. Am I recommending somebody who could hurt a child or is unlicensed or has some background? They want to know that these are safe, trusted, and high-quality providers. We take out all that pain. And so one of the mistakes you made, and it always happens with founders, is they prepare you for what's to come, right? Get right into the product, as Monique said earlier. Give us a scenario, give us an example, then we can understand it. You're in 40 schools already.
Yeah.
How long has this company been operating?
For the school product, it's only 18 months, and
So you have 40 in...
we're 3 years old.
3-year-old company, but 40 schools acquired in 18 months.
That's right.
The schools pay nothing.
Right.
How did you acquire the schools?
Sales.
How did you acquire them? You cold called them?
Email.
You emailed, and who do you email at a school to get them to accept this product?
They usually have an after-school enrichment page, and there's a coordinator on it.
Got
We
it.
just
So you email the after-school coordinator.
Yep.
How many after-school coordinators must you email in order to get them to eventually...
Just one.
I didn't finish the question, but okay.
Sorry.
How many after 40 to get somebody to actually pay, to actually agree? So obviously you have to email one to get a conversation started. But are you saying you emailed 40 people and got 40 customers? That's not possible. How many people did you have to email in order to get 40 customers?
The conversion is about 25%.
On email, based on email. Got it. Okay. Did we lose the sound? Okay. Oh, there we go. We're back. Can you hear in the back?
Hello?
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Monique.
I would echo a lot of what Jason said. I think you talk about this company from the perspective of a computer science person. And I need you to shift to the perspective of a founder, business lead, CEO person, right? You talk a lot about, you got really deep into the weeds on like, oh, and we matched via AI and blah, 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 blah. And that's not really the story for this product. Like the AI is great, but it doesn't necessarily matter. It's not the huge differentiating factor.
That's a key differentiator because there's the huge, what most people don't recognize is that there is a deep computer science problem that parents have to solve manually. So actually being able to identify that, formulate that technology problem and solve that and get rid of that, the biggest hurdle in the checking out process.
But do you think parents think they have an AI computer science problem, or do you think they have I need to send my kids somewhere problem?
These problems are intertwined. Without knowing where my camp and classes fit in the schedule, I cannot convert, the parent cannot buy. So actually that's very much in the checkout process, in the conversion process.
I like this debate, by the way. This is a good, moment just to sportscast it for a minute, like as if I'm like a sportscaster. The founder's being challenged about, is this even necessary by a world-class, well-known investor? And you're holding your ground. No, actually this is. And a lot of times when we as investors ask you questions, we either know the answer because we see so many companies and we're saying, or we've reviewed your deck or we've talked to your other investors already. So we're asking questions to see how you answer them and how you come across, how concise you are, how much conviction you have. So if you have conviction about something, I think holding your ground is important. I've been in many meetings where I'm like, oh, so it's an advertising model? Is that the right model? And they're like, it's an advertising model right now. We're thinking about changing it to enterprise. And I'm like, you're going to have an enterprise food delivery service? Okay. Yeah. Or we're going to sell the metrics from it. We're not sure. And there's like, okay, it's obvious that you're reacting to my questions in the wrong way. So again, I always like to give a couple of things that will help you with this. The design needs a refresh. You know that. And mobile wasn't shown, which means it either doesn't exist or it's ugly.
It's responsive.
It's responsive, okay. Yeah. Always show the mobile version.
Okay.
Only because what investors have learned is that consumers are 80% of the time going to interact mobily. So if you're showing a desktop, it's a little bit of a tell in investors' mind. Oh, this person doesn't understand that the market has moved completely to mobile now. It's like the amount of usage for Amazon or any other site that's desktop versus mobile, it's all just going mobile, obviously. Mm-hmm. So always have that mobile first. And then when you're, just a pro tip, when you're working with your designers or your tech team and you're in a meeting with them and they take out their laptop and show you the website, just say, no. And then hand them the lightning cable and say, why don't you show us what you worked on the phone? And then put the phone on the projector. And then watch everybody go, ugh. So I just tell people like, oh, you got the new website up for Launch Festival Sydney or Founder.University? Great, let me pull it up on my phone. And they're like, ugh. Make it work first here, then go to the desktop. Okay, let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank
well
you.
Done.
Thank you.
Very strong so far. Very strong. Okay. 3, 2 minutes on the clock. Hold on a second. Now I lost my timer. 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2. Oh, tell us your name.
Emily McDonald.
Emily, where are you from?
I split my time between LA and Palo Alto.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
3, 2, go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily McDonald, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Stylist LA. We're a women's contemporary clothing rental company targeting the millennial and Gen Z audience. In fact, 93% of our users are under 35. Think of us as a younger, cooler Rent the Runway with better customer service. We have 2 showrooms where customers can rent in person in Los Angeles and San Francisco, and we also ship nationwide. I have a little video to show you a little bit more about what we do and why we do it. and hopefully the sound will work. Can we turn it up? It won't. It's through this though. It's okay. Anyways, I'll wing it. Oh, wait.
Parties, bridal showers, baby showers, or brunch with the girls. I have fun with it no matter what I'm doing. I love to rent from the Stylist LA because it really has changed my life. As someone who attends a lot of events, I never really felt confident or beautiful before this company started.
Okay, so you missed the beginning, but what I really wanted you to get there is the feeling that these girls get when they find the perfect outfit. So we all know that currently retail is struggling, and it's struggling to connect with this millennial and Gen Z consumer. This customer wants access over ownership, which has been seen with the rise of the sharing economy. They want to live a life that looks luxurious on Instagram without breaking the bank, and God forbid they wear the same outfit twice when doing so. Our main competitor within the space is Rent the Runway, but they're trying to target the millennial, the millennial's mom, and the millennial's grandma, and they're alienating the millennial customer in doing so. There's currently a gap in the market for a curated, on-trend, customer service-focused rental company, and we're filling that gap. Our traction to date. I started this company out of my living room about 7 years ago and have completely bootstrapped it to date. We have 2 locations. We did $365,000 in revenue last year. We have over 30,000 users and a very actively engaged social media following. Another thing I'll say that's a key differentiator is that, we have 2 private labels, which we've figured out how to bring into our inventory successfully. So why the Stylist LA? Rental is the way of the future for retail, and access to the millennial and Gen Z consumer is key to being successful in this market. We have experience in this space, and we will be revolutionizing retail for this for this customer base, one dress at a time.
Let's give her a big round. Okay, very good. Monique?
So initially I wasn't sure how I felt about the name.
Okay.
Because I thought the LA could be limiting, but I actually think the name is good because for the person the person in middle America, LA is aspirational.
And so just to tell you what we do, the stylist here is Stylist SF. So it's still Stylist LA brand name, but like the location on Instagram is the Stylist SF. So we're doing a little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
Now she doesn't like it.
I mean, we call it like the logo on the logo's the Stylist LA, but each location is going to have its own little
I'm going to go with Monique on this one, which is I think that the way you presented it was these people want to go to they want to live the Coachella, Instagram, Kim Kardashian or Kardashian. I don't know which Kardashian is the important one now.
Kylie.
They want to live the Kylie Kardashian lifestyle.
You don't want Kim's life.
You don't want Kim's dealing with Kanye. Woo. You listen to that Kanye album this weekend?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
No, I have not.
It's awesome.
I chose not to listen to it.
I was saying to somebody, it's like completely peak Kanye because it's like the best of his like old, awesome graduation, late registration kind of lyrics, but as if he's like gone completely mentally insane, and nobody can say, don't say that. So all the stuff that somebody would normally say, like, you probably shouldn't say that on a record, it's just all out there. Putting that aside, I'm not going to take away from your time with my Kanye mini review, but it's absolutely worth listening to. I literally had like Lyric Genius up and was listening to it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like texting my group text to friends, like, did you hear this line? What about this line? It was pretty funny. It was like a bunch of 40-year-old venture capitalists talking about Kanye lyrics.
Maybe that's what he wanted.
Yeah, that's clearly his target audience. I don't understand firsthand this business, but having watched it over and over again, one of the things I've learned as an investor is I don't need to understand it. Mm-hmm. What matters is your customers. Yeah. So why don't you tell us about your number one customer in 2018, the customer who keeps coming back, how much they're spending and how they're using it, and what, who they are. You can make up a name for them, but don't make up the person. Don't make me a composite. Tell me about the person.
Jen was the last person who said the Stylist LA has changed her life. Her lifetime value.
Was that the model who said that she feels ugly?
Yeah, she's also not a model.
Okay.
She's a professional organizer.
Okay.
She's 32 years old. She's spent over $7,000 with the Stylist LA. And she's been renting for the last 6 years. She started
So she
renting.
spends $1,000 a year.
Yes.
What is she going to spend in this year?
She's going to probably spend, I would say, 3 this year, potentially.
$250 a month.
Yes.
So this is the power,
actually-
just so everybody knows, like when you give examples, like this has changed the entire conversation because we're talking, these are called whales in the system. So like Zynga, when they would pitch their service, would be like, here are the whales. And like, what's a whale? It's like, well, this is the 1% who are spending $500 to $1,000 a month playing Farmville. And it's like, oh, really? I don't know how I feel about that, but it's true. So how does that change how you think about it, that person spending $250 a month?
Well, I already like the business because I get it.
Thanks.
But I mean, obviously, she's like the top of the whales right now. But I think there's the opportunity to create more of her,
Yes.
and so that means that's a big market.
Right.
So this could be, a Stitch Fix level.
We're thinking Stitch Foot. I didn't get time to talk about this because we had 2 minutes, but we're building an app that gives each customer their own stylist. So we believe in higher customer lifetime values. We're really focusing on connecting with the consumer. Rather, Rent the Runway has a really high turn rate, which we're really focused on keeping that consumer. So if we could also, we do have subscription and a la carte rentals, but if we could also offer subscription on styling that isn't costing us goods, that also increases lifetime value. So Stitch Fix meets Rent the Runway.
It's interesting.
If that makes sense.
If this person is spending $250 a month, $3,000 a year, what would they normally have spent on clothes, and how would that change? Because my wife comes home with stuff sometimes, and I'm like, "How much did that cost?" It's like that cost as much as 2 men's suits. And the men's suits, nobody can tell if I've worn them 2 days in a row because they all look the same.
Right. I mean,
Blue or
she would be
gray.
spending $10,000 to $15,000 on this.
Got it.
Yeah.
So she would be spending 4 times as much pretty easily.
Yes.
And how much more variability is she getting by spending 25%? Oh, you're saying it would be 4 times as much to get that same variability.
Yes.
Apples to apples.
Yes.
So if she didn't spend 12, which she probably wouldn't be able to do, what would she have? 1/4 the amount of clothes, 1/5 the amount of clothes, or
1/4 the amount of clothes, but this specific customer, what she loves is she'll come, so she's going to a wedding in Italy, okay? So it's the time when everyone's getting married. She went to 13 weddings last year, which is why she spent so much. And she wants to come and basically have her suitcase packed by us, if that makes sense. So it's also, the other thing we offer is the styling help, and she doesn't have to think about it.
do you pay extra for that, like to pack your
Not
luggage?
yet, but that's what we do our subscription service, we offer that, but that's where we're moving towards charging more for a styling service as well.
I really love your business more and more as you keep talking. One of the things that's very tried and true as a technique here in Silicon Valley is to capture the high end, productized, and then start going down market. Because on the high end, there's so much profitability that if you said to her, we can absolutely pick up your bag, fill it, meet you at the airport and drop it off, but it's $40 an hour, so that'll take about 2 or 3 hours. Is that okay? And she'd be like, yeah, no, I'm closing another account. I'm going to get an $800 commission. Yeah, do that. I don't need to do that. Meet me at the airport with my bags, or whatever it is, or like pick me up and drop me off at the airport with my bags.
Yeah.
Like that level of VIP. That was Uber. Uber went Uber Black.
Oh, yes.
And you couldn't take an Uber X. That didn't exist. And then Uber X came, and then Uber Pool came, and then Uber Pool Express, and then jump bikes, and then eventually, who knows what's after that?
Yeah.
Scooters. So it's a great strategy.
How many times are you able to turn over a piece of clothing before you have to replace that?
So on average, it's 6, but I'm going to tell you a story about our best dress recently. So it cost us $100. It was rented, this unit was rented 46 times and then was sold at the end of its lifespan for $120 because it was sold out everywhere else.
Wow. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause.
So on average, there's 6, but we're really dedicated to utilizing inventory and buying like very right for our customers. So I think that's increasing.
And because you are focused only on like 30 years old and younger, is that the idea?
35 and under.
35 and under, or people who behave that way? Like, because there's some 45-year-olds who still go to Coachella, I heard.
Yeah. Coachella's a big one for us. We did pre-festival parties.
Yeah. I just love this. There was one thing that stuck out to me was like, oh, we pack your bag and you got your Italy's trip is done.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally going to Spain and I'm watching my wife go through this. Like, oh my God, we're going to Spain for 5 days. And she's like, what do I can just imagine she's like going on Pinterest or wherever you people go to like figure this fashionistas like go to figure this stuff out. I'm like, okay, Do I need 4 black T-shirts or 5?
But the other
One,
thing
two,
is
I
now,
wear one twice. I turn it inside out. I can get away with 3. And she's literally sweating this.
and she wants it to be like, whether it's Instagrammable or Pinterestable, she wants it to be a unique outfit.
Yeah.
So it's not something she's going to wear
Ever
a million
again.
more times. Yeah.
Love it. All right.
Okay.
Let's
Thank
give
you
her a
guys
big
so
round of
much.
applause.
Can
Well
I ask
done.
your feedback? Did you like having the video in it or no?
That's terrible.
It's no, yeah.
Okay, 'cause
hard no.
I know
It's
you like to see
distracting.
product, so I was like, I just thought it was a gamble, so I figured I'd ask.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that one didn't work out.
The chances that the audio isn't going to work are too high, so don't
Okay.
do it.
Thank you.
Also, it's sort of like what the video represents is the reason why so many people show videos is because they spend so much money on them. They're like, I have to use this somewhere. I might as well use it at this event. And then what happens is you lose the authenticity because videos are designed by manipulative video editors to drive emotion, to push a sale, right? And we're trying to have a real conversation about the business. So it's like, oh, okay, that's how you market the business. That's how you pull people's emotional strings. Like, I noticed when the women, I assume they were all like actors.
No.
That's so. That's the other thing is people are just going to assume they're actors. That's why I said, is she a model like an actor? Because she's like, and I'm so ugly, and I always felt so ugly. And then she looks down like this. I don't know if anybody noticed the look down, but I was like, wow, give her an Emmy Award.
Okay, thank
I would have
you.
never known she was a customer. I
Okay.
assumed it, because all these businesses that make these $50,000 videos, $20,000 videos, and they're worth it, trust me, they drive, if you make the right video for Kickstarter, it can drive 10 times the amount of usage. That's why that sandwich guy does so well. It's just really like the opposite of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get ground truth. Like we want to know what's going on in the trenches. Like what's the reality of this business?
Okay.
That 46 dress story, that's worth 100 minutes of video.
Okay. That's such good feedback. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
Thank you so much.
Ground truth. We love the ground truth. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody, close your damn laptops. That's not a request. That's a command. Close those laptops all the way, put them away. We have a no laptop, no device rule here. That's why we put out the pads. We want your full attention. And the reason we want your full attention is because if you're responding to Slack channels and whatever, you're never going to have your mind open up and have that killer idea of how what's happening on the stage applies to you. So bear with me. No device rule while you're here. Okay. Tell us your name, Dominique.
Dominique Barnes.
Correct. Where you're from?
I am from the East Bay.
Okay. You have 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, go.
I'm Dominique Barnes, co-founder and CEO of New Wave Foods, and we're on a mission to disrupt seafood, not oceans. Imagine you're planning a dinner party for 12 of your closest friends, and you sit down to think about the menu and all of the dietary restrictions of your guests. Ira keeps kosher, so you have to have a kosher meal. Mary has a shellfish allergen, so no shrimp or lobster. Alex is vegan. Oh, and Tony has really high cholesterol. So what are you going to serve? You're known for your taste and good food, but you don't want to serve a sad salad. So here's New Wave Food Shrimp. It's 100% plant-based, made from algae and plant ingredients, making it kosher, shellfish allergen-free, vegan, and delicious. And it works in any of the shrimp dishes that you would serve normally, fajitas, tacos, and beyond. And it gets better. Not only is it good for you and your dinner party, but it's great for the environment. Because it's made from algae, it's made from completely sustainable ingredients. And as a dedicated marine biologist, I started this company because I believe that we can continue to enjoy seafood without depleting the oceans. The problem with conventional seafood is that it comes from really unsustainable places. Shrimp's our favorite seafood by far. It's a $17 billion industry, but our insatiable demand is growing so fast that we have to import it from countries that have unfavorable conditions, like ruining our environment, enslaving children, and putting illegal antibiotics on your plate. So we made a better shrimp. And we do this by looking at the molecules of a shrimp muscle structure to understand what gives it different texture. We choose sustainable FDA-approved plant-based and algae ingredients. And the genius of my co-founder, Michelle Wolf, who's a material scientist and engineer, has come up with our patent-pending texture technology formula that allows us to recreate that texture of seafood using these ingredients. And in time, we can launch other seafood products like crab, tuna, and so on. Excuse me. We've gone into food service with some great traction. We've been the first and only plant-based seafood company to partner with the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch, the nation's leading sustainable seafood guide, and we're permanently on the menu in their cafe, seeing over 1,000 customers a day. Chef Charlie Ayers, who is Google's first executive chef, is a huge supporter of ours. He's put us on the menu at his restaurant in Palo Alto, and you can find us at the SFO airport at the SF Giants Clubhouse, and anyone in the U.S. can order our shrimp using our partnership with Vistro. The future of seafood is here. It's delicious, and I can't wait to tell you more about it.
Okay, well done. Big round of applause. My friend Gigi invested, right?
Yes.
Okay, you've come a long way.
I have.
Pro tip, bring the shrimp next time. Oh my God, how do you not give us the shrimp?
I'm really dying to try it.
I know, like you could have closed an investment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I like this space. And tell me how this becomes a really big company, though.
This becomes a really big company by having multiple phases going into sales. So targeting with food service, that's where 2/3 of seafood is consumed outside the home. So we're going to have the biggest traction there. But while building a brand, because the seafood is so white label and untraceable, you don't know what is in it and how it gets to your plate. So creating something that people can trust and rely on and have consistency in taste, texture, and quality over time going into retail will help expand sales.
So are you going direct to consumer first, or are you going perhaps selling into businesses first?
We're going to businesses first. So partnering with people like chefs that have a lot of credibility in the food space and then can trickle down and add credibility to us and then go eventually retail and direct to consumer.
Let's walk through the unit economics. My understanding is it's very expensive to produce these type of Impossible Burgers, Beyond Meat. There's a whole category emerging. Where are you at in that sort of trajectory of making this competitively priced? What does each shrimp cost for you to make? And then what do you sell them for versus an actual shrimp?
Right now we're break even. So it costs us about 25 cents a shrimp to make, and we sell it at about 25 cents a shrimp to make. What we're finding in our beta test sales this year is that people are sensitive to price if they're not completely on board with the sustainability message. And so being a value add, we want to be capturing that, what people are willing to pay for a higher value. But in time, it's a matter of economics and scale.
But isn't shrimp wildly expensive? So the piece you left out there is what shrimp actually costs. So if you were to buy an actual piece of shrimp, what would it be? 25 cents or more? For the comparably sized shrimp.
Comparably sized shrimp, it could be between like 15 to 25, depending on the source and where it comes from.
Okay. When do you think you will be half the price? Or is that even possible?
It is definitely possible. We can be half the price, maybe even less in time as we bring more automation into our manufacturing. That's where the big cost is. In the next 2 to 5 years.
2 to 5 years, great. Where is Impossible Burger on this trajectory? Because I just had my first one at Umami Burger by the baseball field, and I have to say it was not terrible. And my expectation was like, oh my God, I'm at Umami Burger and I'm really going to make this decision. And I was like, well, I'm having the onion rings. Fuck it. I'll do the right thing here and see what happens. And I actually was like, this is not, has anybody had the Impossible Burger?
It's so good.
It's like, how many people liked it? Raise your hand if you liked it. I actually liked it. And I was like, the next day I was like, maybe I want to go back and get one. Like I was like, really disturbing for me as a meat lover. Like I was like, wow, maybe I want to have another Impossible Burger.
Yeah.
So where are they at in their journey? In making that, and what are their costs like, and how much has been invested in that company?
A ton of money. Over $400 million has been invested in Impossible Foods, much of it from Asia investors. From what I understand, they keep a lot of this information closely guarded, but they claim that they're cost competitive, but when talking to their other investors, excuse me, like they're profitable, they're not there yet. For us, we're just so driven by really seeing the difference and impact, and part of that is price. It's convenience, taste, and price. And for us, using like these algae-based ingredients that can be so unit economic friendly, we can get there pretty quickly. And we're not spending 5 years of investors' money and just R&D. We're going to the market now and starting to make sales and tractions now.
This was an example of one of the questions that I know the answer to, but I'm asking it just to see if she knows. I was like, I wonder if she understands the competitive landscape, and you do. So that's good.
Yeah.
Now credibility going up, right? Like, okay, she understands what's going on behind me. I can call the investors of Beyond Me and say, how's it going? And they'll tell me. Monique, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
How much has been raised to date, and how many full-time employees?
We've raised $2 million to date, and we have 2 full-time employees.
Wow. So this is wildly efficient.
Yeah.
Where are you manufacturing the shrimp, or is it done at a contract
We have
manufacturer?
contract manufacturer in California.
Got it. Awesome. Let's give her a big round of applause. Very cool. One of the things that'll be interesting about this space, I think, just as a total aside, is not only will this stuff get cheaper, I have a prediction. It's going to get better. It will taste ultimately better. So there's a company making tuna, like actual fish. And I had them on the podcast, and I asked them, when do you think you'll have like tuna that'll be comparable to sushi? Oh, 3 to 5 years, typical answer. Then I was like, when will you have toro that's better than the best toro? And they're like, yeah, that'll probably be like 10 years. And I'm like, oh, okay. So there'll be something on the menu at Nobu that didn't come from the ocean that'll taste better than the best thing in the ocean. That only makes sense that with science we'd make something better. Okay, tell us your name.
I'm Ula.
Ula, welcome. Where are you from?
Copenhagen.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I was just there recently. I went to Tivoli Gardens again.
Nice.
That's very nice. The oldest amusement park in the world, I think.
It's absolutely correct. Yes.
And I went to that, what's that restaurant? Noma?
No, you got in?
Woo! Come on, man. I got in.
But they just
I got the private dining room. What are you talking about? Did I get in? Are you nagging me?
No.
It worked.
Just, it's Denmark, it's socialistic, country.
It is pretty socialist,
yeah,
but I came in with a black card.
Yeah,
It's not socialist anymore.
I haven't been to the new location, but it's
I'm going to the new location in
Okay.
September, but
Nice.
I'll let you know. It's
Nice.
it's pretty crazy. They didn't have the ants on top of the meat.
No, not
Yeah.
this time.
I also went to Christiania.
Oh, yeah.
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 Well, leave it at that, though.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that a little later then.
I have a good Christiania story.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
I'll tell it briefly. I was there in 1999, 2000. It's a zone in Copenhagen that is not controlled by or wasn't controlled by the government, where things went down. And so we went there, and my friend buys a bunch of cookies. These are cookies that have cannabis in them. And these guys are eating cannabis cookies, whatever. And there's other stuff going on as well. And we go to the airport, and I'm with my friend. And there's 2 giant German shepherds at the end. And he goes, oh, my God. And I said, what? He goes, I still have the cookie. I said, you have a cookie? He's like, I have the cannabis cookie. And there's 2 dogs right there. I said, oh, okay. He goes, hold on 1 second. He turns around, takes the cookie out, and he eats it while we're online. We get on the flight. He's sitting over here next to me. And he's like this on the flight. Wow. And the woman comes over and she goes, is he okay? I was like, I think he took like a Xanax or something, and then he had a scotch, and he's drunk. I got him. Don't worry about it. And he literally was, yeah. I think it was like 4 portions in this cookie. All right. So welcome.
Thank you.
You have 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, go.
All right. I'm Ulla from Ulla, CEO of the Faves team, and we have built an app to help fashion retailers manage the complexity of wholesale buying. Buyers, they struggle to keep track of what they see when they visit fashion fairs and showrooms. They look at hundreds of different styles before they select what they want into their business. The way they try to keep it on top is actually to take pictures of what they see and keep track of budgets and notes on the side. But because there's no one common overview, even very experienced buyers, they end up making quite costly mistakes. They end up making redundant purchases, missing out on opportunities, and then they end up spending a lot of time trying to get organized about all the notes and pictures afterwards. This is where Faves comes in. We built an elegant and very easy-to-use app that puts the essential buying information in the palm of your hand. Just with a few taps, it captures your buying decisions and gives you a visual overview of what you're seeing. In addition, it actually keeps track of your budget for you automatically. Then it also provides you the ability to look at lookbooks from the different brands. We launched Faves just earlier this year, and I'm really happy to say that we got 10 paying customers on board. We have another 12 that are actually promoting us on Instagram in exchange for paying. We have approximately 100 that are testing it right now, and we expect to see conversions increase now that buying season for spring-summer picks up here in June. We are really excited and dedicated team of entrepreneurs, and all of us have previous startup experience. 2 of us come from Apple. Colleen is our fashionista, and Mark and Sin are the technical team. We're grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Let's give Ula a big round of applause.
So the $29 a month, is that $29 for unlimited seats, or is that per seat? Tell
No,
me.
that's actually for one user. Then it's $10 per additional user on top of that.
Okay. And so how much is the ticket size for the average retailer that you have right now?
Right now, there are actually two seats.
Okay.
Yeah. For the ones, yeah.
So it's B2B,
It's B2B, that's correct.
but you got a little C in there with the influencers?
No, I'm sorry. That's actually retailers that are acting as influencers. And that's a reason because they're keeping an eye on each other. So the different stores and department stores are looking to smaller stores. So they follow them on Instagram to see what they're buying, which brands, and how they curate.
So this was by far the best presentation so far because it was super concise. We understood, like, there's very few questions that you didn't anticipate. And notice the massive credibility when we all saw, two out of the 4 people worked at Apple, one of them worked at Apple and IKEA, and you showed 4 slides for the design, and it was perfectly clear. Boom, 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 boom. Here's what happens in the app. You can review stuff, you can and you can communicate. Now, the part I found the most interesting was you can communicate with the person who makes the product. Is that right? Like you can chat with them?
Well, right now, no. Right now, in the first step we've done, we have invited the brands to have a brand page with their lookbooks. And then there will be a connection between the brands and the retailers. Mm-hmm. So in that case, it will end up doing communication. But right now, it's
via
just
chat.
Not at this point, no.
But that's going to be the secret weapon.
That's correct.
You just
yes.
don't want to say
exactly.
on the live stream.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Sorry to go down the roadmap, but it's obvious that like this would be incredible if
yes.
Emily is like, I was.
Can I sign up?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just like watching Emily during this, and she's like writing, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is good.
We literally, our girls, they take photos on their iPhones, upload it to a PowerPoint.
Yep.
Like it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It's
yeah.
a mess. I've just been in the city for 2 days, and I got 3 stores on board and 1 brand. Everybody I met was super excited. So
Yeah,
I
and-
know this is your beta pricing, but I think you have a lot of price wiggle room here, and you can definitely go higher than where
Okay.
you are at the $29 a month and $10 for each additional seat.
yeah.
You just
okay.
took the words out of my mouth. I mean, the pricing power here could be extraordinary because if this eliminates the need for the buyer to have 2 assistants helping them organize everything, like
Yeah.
I could see this eliminating like 1 headcount or not adding that extra headcount that they don't have permission to do and making them bionic. It's almost, it reminds me of House, which nobody believed in, and then everybody threw money at. Like, and the pricing power, what is the person who's paying $29 a month, $400 a year, whatever it winds up being, let's say $400 a year, what do they spend per year buying? I'm curious, do you think? If you took your top 2 or 3 customers, play the top customer game.
They will spend about of the Copenhagen audience, they will spend about 400,000.
On products
Yes.
in your app or just totally in their life?
No,
In
a year. They
A
will
year
spend,
for their store.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
For
And
the
so, and that's for a
But
sort
that's
of
like
Copenhagen.
that's a little. It's I mean
Boutique.
that's a boutique size.
So $400 would be 0.1% of their
Yeah,
total spend.
Yeah,
And so if you could save them 1%, they're
Exactly.
getting the other 0.9.
yeah, exactly.
Or if you can increase sales by 5%, they're getting the other 4.9, which is another way to look at the pricing power.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would say is be careful with giving anybody anything for free
Yeah,
for too long. Just because what we all know as investors is there are people who are afraid to charge for their product.
Yeah.
And you may start negative signaling that like,
Yeah.
you know, like people ask Steve Jobs for a free phone and he'd be like,
Right.
I'm sorry, what?
yeah,
Like there's an Apple store and
Yeah.
what are you talking about Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio wanted a free Tesla at one point I read. Like it's like you have a Ferrari, like did Ferrari give you a free car? I don't ask Elon for a free car. Go buy one. You're Leonardo DiCaprio. You got paid $30 million for a movie. This is really super interesting. How long have you been working on it?
We've been working at it for 2 years, but we launched here earlier this year in February.
Based in Copenhagen.
Based in Copenhagen, we went in beta last year in August. So
And you have 4, 5, 6 full-time employees?
we have 4.
Have
Well,
you
we
raised,
have 2.
have you raised any money?
We have we've been bootstrapping, and then we have $90,000 from Danish government in the
Great.
innovation fund.
Damon, get me $100,000 quickly, please. Thank you. Brown paper bag. This is amazing. I really really impressed. Like I think it's one of these businesses where like most people don't even understand that this is happening.
No.
You know, like, and that there's these people who have this problem,
Yeah.
and then the solution is so elegant that I could see it being this like a one person wins everything, because if you're not on House and you're a designer, it's like you don't exist. Like anybody with a home in San Francisco who's doing any kind of upgrades or design projects, like I got to think like 9 out of 10 of the clients you want are on House. If you're not there paying House, you're basically you're invisible. It's like you don't exist. It's really good.
Have you been focused on the individual boutique owner so far, or are you going after the sort of national retailer?
Right now, it's been focused on the individual boutiques. We have started dialogue with department stores in Copenhagen. What they're asking for is integration into their back-end systems, but they see it, they definitely see it as a great opportunity for a curation tool that they don't have today. They have the ERP systems, but it doesn't support them in the upfront buying at the store.
What you need to do is, when you get a little bit of funding, is add another developer
Exactly.
and just tell them build API endpoints for everything.
Exactly.
This way, all the API endpoints are there and documented. And then when you go into the meeting, it's like, oh no, here's what you here's all the API things, here's the API key.
Exactly.
Like literally one developer, 60 grand, 70 grand, boom, just do this.
Yes.
Only APIs. Then you just, if you say there's an API, then that number one objection you're going to get is like, oh, okay, well they have to have the API and they're thinking about it and they've already got 17 endpoints. We're done.
Yeah.
Let's give Ula another big round of applause. Well done. Thank you for making the trip.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow. Jackie, good job on the selection process. Everybody, let's give a big round of applause to Emmy award-winning producer Jackie. Shipe. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
Last time I saw you, you were in Miami on the stage with Pitbull.
I was, yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I just saw the winner.
Yeah,
here
he
as
asked me to
well.
come up and drop a verse, so I just got up there and just did it. I did it. I didn't want to embarrass. It was his show, and I was just doing a favor for him. He's going to drop some stuff on my new album, so we're trying to.
That was fun.
This is what Pitbull says to me when we're in the green room. He goes, "I want to show you exactly how crazy Miami can get." And I looked Pitbull in the eyes and I said, "I want you to show me exactly how crazy Miami can get." We're going to be friends. I'm like, we already are friends. Okay. Tell us your name.
I'm Bianca.
Bianca
Lowe.
Bianca. Okay, Bianca. 3, 2, go.
So my name is Bianca Lowe. I'm the CEO and founder of SafeRoom. And SafeRoom is a SaaS platform that offers secure mobile messaging for small, medium-sized businesses or teams. And I want to start with a use case. So we created a test account for your company, actually, for your team buddies, for your team buddies, your investor friends, and some of your portfolio companies. So you open the app and welcome to your official launch messenger. So you immediately love it because you see your company logo. Everybody else sees it too. And it is your personalized end-to-end encrypted messenger that works just as easy as your iMessage. So no new learning or behavior really needs to be created. So Jason, we know that you are a no bullshit type of guy. You like to be direct, you like to be bold, but maybe sometimes you want to say things off the record. So here you're talking to Mike, the CEO of one of your new portfolio companies, and you are furious about the metrics that he just shared with you. So you invite him to the safe room, and which is like the off-the-record chat. So here you can say everything you want, and nothing will ever be stored on servers or devices, not even momentarily. So the moment you're done, you hit leave room, and everything is purged, it's gone. So our mission is to give companies peace of mind about their data. And so we also provide them with a powerful admin tool. In terms of traction to date, we put out the company a closed beta version of SafeRoom. We've sold it to 13 companies in 3 countries. We generated the first 35K ARR. And the next step would be to launch Android and get the platform ready for scale. So we're SafeRoom. We stand for Trusted Smart Communication, and our goal is to become WhatsApp for businesses that value privacy and security. Thank you.
Okay, well done. Certainly, we have the most entertaining pitch. Always dangerous to use like your subject as the subject of your presentation, but you pulled it off here. It was great.
Okay, thank you.
Why don't you give some feedback?
I really like this product. I think people are increasingly concerned about their privacy and concerned about private conversations. I used to have private conversations on Facebook Messenger and just, turn on the private room. I don't necessarily trust that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Anymore.
Yeah.
I've also used Snapchat for those private conversations. Again, I think like the trust level needs to be super, super high, and the focus on privacy is good in this business. How long does it take you to sell into a customer, a B2B customer?
Yeah. So the companies that are customers right now, they are like, of course, companies we know are people or companies that we've been referred to. So interestingly, it has been a pretty quick sale. Because people, they love seeing their own logo there. They love having the control. They love not having to use the consumer apps, because we see a lot of companies out there using instant messaging or WhatsApp, and they're using that more and more for businesses. Signal, but they're all consumer apps. They're not really made for businesses. You can just download them. And here, it's just a professional made-for-business tool. It's instant messaging as you know it. So also different to Slack, of course, where it's an open collaboration platform, which is great. But this is really for companies who have a lot of confidential and private things to say, and they don't want to use those kind of platforms. And today, there are like not really viable tools in the market, especially when it comes to small, medium-sized
numbers
teams.
are you seeing so far with your existing customers?
So right now, 7 of the companies, they're active right now. As I said, Android is not out yet. So of course, if you have one Android user, then it doesn't really work. So hopefully we're going to get that out soon. But we have so far 70 people using it per day. And hopefully those numbers will go up once SaaS.
How much is it per user per month?
Well, it's a yearly subscription model. So we have a three-tier-based pricing model. First one is up to 10 people. You pay $1,500 per year. And the next tier would be up to 50 people, where you pay about $3,000 per year.
Is that how people want to pay? They want to pay per year upfront for like a block of users, or do you think the Slack model where you pay for what you use is the better model?
Of course, we need to still experiment with pricing, but that's the pricing model that we have been using so far, also to get money up front, because with the Slack model, you can use the platform for free for some time. So we said, since right now we're also, so all the setups of the company is still a manual process. So we get the companies to
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
To pay up front.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because it's manual and everything. So I think that's a good answer, by the way. Like if you're going to go against the industry standard pricing model, you should have a good, well thought out reason, because it's going to happen in the marketplace that people are going to say, well, this is the way I pay for Slack. I pay only for what I use in monthly. Why would I pay you up front? What if I stop using it? So when they say, what happens when I stop using it if I kick it out of my company in 3 months because the new CEO doesn't want to use it, do they get a refund for the other 75% or no?
Well, so far that hasn't happened, and we still have to see it. But so far, it's.
Is there anything in the contract though for the service agreement?
So we want to give a 30-day trial period to the companies in the beginning, so they can check it out, and when they like it, they just pay for the year.
And nobody else is doing a secure anonymous communicate or secure.
Yeah, it's not anonymous.
No, secure communication platform for companies like this.
Well, there are players, but they're more enterprise companies, so they're going for the big corporations, and we want to go into more the Slack market, where it's small, medium-sized business or teams, but not necessarily companies that want to use Slack.
Feels like interesting, because Slack is recorded. Slack is on their servers, and there's been this big discussion in Silicon Valley, what will happen when Slack is eventually hacked? If Slack gets hacked, oh my God, can you imagine the conversations occurring on Slack between individuals about competitors and all this kind of stuff? That is a ticking time bomb.
Yes, Slack is great, but if you have confidential things to say, you shouldn't put it on Slack, because there are a lot of vulnerabilities, especially when it comes to security.
Okay, let's give her a big round of applause.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
And you're based in Miami as well, or no?
No, I'm based here.
Okay, cool. Great. Awesome. Okay. Vanessa, yeah. All right, tell us your name, Vanessa, and where are you from?
Vanessa from
My
Denver.
standard dad joke. You all have to suffer through it. Where are you from?
Denver.
Okay, welcome. Thanks for making the trip. You have 2 minutes on the clock. And let me put my little thing here. 3, 2, go.
Okay, hi. Our company is Atomos Nuclear and Space. So we are not a typical company that you've probably heard before, but I'm excited to tell you about it. So typical problem with space transportation today is that we optimize rockets to do lots of things. So we're using a tool to meet multiple ends, and it's a suboptimal scenario. So a rocket is fantastic for getting into space. It's really the only tool we have to do this. But we're also using it to get into deep space. So there are lots of commercial customers looking to get into deep space. So these are telecommunications providers, and now the growing industry of Internet of Things. We need to have bandwidth and big data needs, which satellites in space can meet. So the issue today is that rockets are expendable and propellant is expensive. Once we're in space, we can use more efficient engines to get around since we don't need to fight against gravity. So in deep space, we should be using a different solution. So space tugs is one way to do this. So silly name, but NASA actually coined it in the 1950s. So space tugs use very, very efficient electric engines to move in space. They're actually so efficient that we use only 10% of the propellant that rockets use. So we can do multiple transfers, which makes this a much better system to move about in space in comparison to just using rockets to get to our final destination. So launch without a space tug. A satellite is launched on a large rocket, typically from a launch site near the equator, such as Kennedy Space Center. And then the satellite needs to maneuver itself into the final position, which actually uses a lot of propellant itself, which the satellite operator has to pay for. On launch with our system, we can use any rocket anywhere in the world. We'll rendezvous with the satellite and transport it to its final destination. So currently we're charging, on average, a contract cost of $54 million per transfer, but we have a very, very large profit margin. So we can drop that cost to have a 10x improvement on the cost to get satellites to deep space. Okay. So this actually benefits everyone. So we don't just lower the cost for satellite operators, we reduce the risks. Rockets are built for one use only. We have a vehicle that is built for hundreds of uses, meaning that we have higher reliability. This also benefits all of the launch providers. So more launch providers will be able to access the market, and also will bring down insurance and operating costs for those launch providers. This benefits anyone who needs space data. So telecommunications companies, users of the Internet of Things, and big data. Finally, this benefits companies like NASA as well. So the tech that we're bringing to market and commercializing is also technology that we can resell to the government. So this is actually a really big market opportunity. So deep space transportation is currently a $2 billion market, so that's a small slice of the $350 billion space industry, but it's going to grow 10x in the next 20 years, according to Bank of America Merrill Lynch. So with our revenue model, we need one customer in our first year of operation, growing to a modest 3 or 4, and we see already high hundreds of $millions to $1 billion in revenue. You know, we're not assuming a 2% slice in the market. This is really just for a couple of customers. So I'm a ex-Lockheed, worked for the German Space Agency and Airbus Defence and Space. This is actually based on my PhD work. And my two co-founders are from the business side of things as well. And so we've been working on this idea full-time for the past few months, although the technology development for it has been ongoing since 2013.
Incredible, well done. Thanks for having two token white guys on the deck. It's always helpful. There's not many of us left in the industry. There's like a funny, somebody showed me a funny website where you can rent a white guy to give your presentation. It was kind of a joke or something. So let me see if I understand this. You're going to make a tugboat in space.
Yes.
That grabs Elon's, SpaceX's satellite and then pulls it out to orbit so they don't have to go spend that extra fuel.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't show it here, so is it designed, or are you just, this is just a concept that hasn't been made yet? Where are you at in the lifespan of this? Because I would love to see what this looks like. I have this really cool vision of some sort of tugboat.
So I have some blueprints. We're actually having an animation made up right now so everyone can see what it looks like. So it's the main vehicle that's going to do all of the work is this funny looking thing in the middle. So we actually have a nuclear reactor on board. It's actually a very, very common idea in the space industry. Russia has launched 30 reactors to space. NASA's launched one. And we use plasma engines. And you can see that the large panels are solar radiator panels.
Okay, so there's a nuclear reactor in space, and it's going to grab onto a satellite and then push it out to where it goes. Gotcha. And the Russians have put 30 nuclear reactors in space.
30 to 34, depending on your sources.
Who you believe. When did they do this?
So from the 1960s through to the end of the 1980s.
How big are these nuclear reactors? Because we, of course, think like a nuclear reactor. We think like a funny-looking building. How big are these space nuclear reactors?
So the ones that the Russians were using are quite small. I mean, it would be the size of one of these coffee mugs, very highly enriched, but also very weaponizable. You just melt that down a little bit. It can be a great core for a nuclear weapon. We're using completely commercializable fuel, which hasn't got a proliferation issue. You can't make a bomb out of our reactor. So it's actually quite a bit larger. It's probably the size of a bar fridge.
Got it. Like a bar. Okay, got it. Makes total sense. Monique, questions about the nuclear tugboat?
How much education do you have to do to the end customer to make this sale? Like, are there people who are already wanting to do this, or do you have to educate them that they need to be doing this and then make the sale?
So we tell this to people and their eyes light up. So talking to chief engineer at SpaceX, talking to Lockheed, Boeing, a lot of the other telecommunication satellite companies, and they're so excited. So our customers don't need education. Our issue is our investors need education.
Wait, you said you were at NASA before this, or?
So I was at Lockheed working on a NASA program.
Yeah. How long were you at Lockheed?
2.5 years.
Got it. Okay. I think with the when you do that slide, Ula, was it Ula? Is that how you pronounce her name? Where is she? Oh, hey, Ula. Yeah. She had like the Apple logo and the IKEA logo. Go ahead and put that Lockheed Martin one there. Just sort of back to the sort of race to become credible that we're all in life. Just sort of drops it really well. What will it cost you? What is the next step? You have to just get a bunch of money from Draper Fisher Jurvetson or Peter Thiel to do this? Like some crazy investors?
Yeah, so we have a series of staggered raises. I'm sorry I can't show you the chart, but we have a 1 million raise this year, 3 million raise next year, 15 million in the early 2020s, and then a final raise in the tens of millions. This can be 50% funded by the government, but to meet our time to market goals, we also want to bring on private investors.
Got it.
Where does 1 million get you? Because that does not sound like a lot of money.
So there are some.
It
is not a lot of money. So our issue right now is that we need to make ourselves valuable and competitive. So Lockheed, Boeing, Raytheon don't come and do this. So there are key pieces of IP that we need to patent, further develop, and exclusively license. That 1 million gets the patents and the exclusive licenses and makes us invaluable to this type of business model.
What did you go to school for? Are you a physicist or a business person?
No, so my thesis was in aerospace engineering, but I also have a program management graduate degree.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
I would, just one little quick suggestion. Talk about yourself more. Like, you seem a little hesitant to talk about yourself and like talk about your accomplishments. This is the sort of business where you're going to need to do that. You're going to need to be like, I'm the best thing ever, and I can get you to space using this cool technology, and you're going to have to really sell it. And what you're selling is like your ability.
So you don't have the smart girl's toy to like hold up and be like, here's a toy, and everybody go, oh wow, look at that box, it's cool. Yeah. I think, did you just tell her to lean in a bit?
I'm trying to lean back.
I think it's right. Like I would beef up the discussion about what you did at Lockheed Martin, because this is so science fiction and so crazy and it's so out there that and fantastical that you have to kind of believe like this person could actually pull it off, right? And it's only a 2-minute pitch, but yeah. And those animations help, I think, right? Like they help people like bridge the gap of like, oh, this is possible. And then the other way to sell it, I think, to your point about like your kind of like what people are betting on is what the outcome would be. So, hey, and the deck the deck is really well done too, by the way. I would like to hear the full pitch, the 20-minute pitch, which is really your goal in any of these short pitches, is like to get the meeting for the full pitch. So like, I'm like, I really like to see the full pitch here just because it's intellectually interesting. But the how much money could be at stake here is interesting. And then, of course, it's going to be like, well, what if Elon does this, right? So what's the answer to that? Like, wouldn't Elon just do this as part of the SpaceX? Because that's what he's in the business of.
So no, he's actually the only launch vehicle provider that doesn't need to, because he already has majority market capture and already beats everyone else's cost by 50%. We enable everyone else to be on the same playing field as Elon. So he could buy us out to remove us as competition.
Got it. Awesome. I think
That's
a
a
good answer.
great thing to say as part of your pitch.
Yeah. You are a way for other Lockheed Martins and other people to compete with him, right? I got it. Interesting. And you'll be relentlessly focused on just this, so you should be able to get to it before anybody else gets to it.
If we get the capital we need, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well done. Let's give her a big round of applause. All right. How many have we done, Jackie? 6?
9.
Wow. This is the most we've done ever. Oh, it's 11:45. All right. All right, let's try to get to 12. Okay. Tell us your name.
Hi, Ebony from Virginia.
Okay, welcome. 3, 2, go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ebony, and I'm the CEO and founder of Budtender. Cannabis cashiers have a heavy influence of the products that are purchased in dispensaries. And cannabis brands are having a hard time trying to educate the sales force on how to sell their product. 62% of this country has some form of cannabis legalization, and soon there will be over 150,000 cannabis cashiers that 5,000 brands will need to educate. So brands are already spending money on trying to solve this problem, but not in a scalable way. Budtender is a B2B online platform that helps to streamline the training process for cannabis brands. We are cheap and affordable and more efficient. We offer 10 to 15-minute courses, and brands provide quizzes that the sales force must pass. We're then incentivizing the sales force, on doing a good job. So now brands have a scalable way to get their information in front of the sales force and don't have to rely on a single point person. So we make money by charging the brands for each sales force that we train. And by the end of the year, our goal is to train 3,000 cannabis cashiers on 30 brands. We're already working with some of the top cannabis brands to help solidify us as first movers in the space. We've gotten some great free press opportunities, as well as won a few pitch competitions. By the year 2022, the U.S. cannabis industry could have an economic impact of $80 billion. And our brothers in the north and south of us are already changing federal laws. So it'll happen here before we know it. So now is the time to invest in the picks and shovels. Thank you.
Okay, well done. And just to point out, you did it with like maybe 20 seconds to spare.
Okay.
One of the great ways to win a competition like this or just perform really well is to come in under and not seem like you're in a panic trying to explain everything, because all you're trying to do is get the second meeting.
Yes.
Monique, you want to go first?
What did you say that goal was? 30,000 by?
Well, 3,000 cashiers by the end of this year with 30 brands.
Okay, 3,000 on 30.
Yes.
So how close are you to that goal?
So we're about a quarter of the way there. So right now, because this is a double-sided marketplace, we're trying to build both our budtender audience and our brand audience.
One thing that I was struck by, and I'm curious as to the framing of the problem.
Okay.
You mentioned it's cheap and they're cashiers, and I just thought to myself, well, these sound like sommeliers to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, well, if you're training them to be better cashiers, people think about cashiers here, but they think about sommeliers up here. And sommeliers, when you get the Sommelier Society of America, which my dad was the treasurer of, and my dad was a master sommelier, or I guess still is technically, they would do competitions, and it was $1,000 to go through the course, and when you did, you got a better job because of it. And we talked earlier about going after the high end and then working your way down. I wonder, all of this work you're doing to certify somebody to be a cashier feels like you're estimating the impact they could have on the business. I really think what you should be doing is I mean, it might be good to have like a base level certification, like you know what indica is, you know what sativa is, you know what a hybrid is. Like, I don't. Certainly, I have no idea. But if people could understand, like Girl Scout cookies versus Blue Dream, you know, like, it's like, again, I have no idea what any of these things are, but go with the Girl Scout cookies, incredible. You could really like maybe make this higher end. So why is this not like a sommelier program? If you're going to take people through this course, and by the way, the design looked good. So people are looking at your design, they're sweating your design. Like make stuff look good because they judge books by the cover. And like when we saw with Ula's product, very well designed. The school product we saw looked a little like the screenshots weren't very clean, and it looked like a little pixelated. Yours looked very good too. Why not go for the higher end? Why not get a $500 certification course to be a sommelier?
Well, yeah. Well, and I guess cashier might be the wrong language to use. We wanted to use cashier to try to get people to kind of make the connection if they haven't been in a dispensary. They are called budtenders, but even that language could kind of fall on some people. But they do have important jobs. You have to go through a budtender in order to make a purchase. So it's the only retail job where you have to rely on someone's recommendation.
So I think where you're going is why not become like the certification body and like elevate this business to the point where it's the Sommelier Society of America. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So you can be the Sommelier Society of America for cannabis. And so why don't we kind of take it and right now it's right here. Why don't we try to put it here?
Okay.
Is that where you're going?
100%. So I think what you should do is, the way I would frame it is taking cashiers to bud tenders and bud tenders to cannagods or whatever this sommelier society version is going to be.
Okay.
Come up with your own word.
Yeah. Okay.
And then come up with your own leveling system where you get to wear a lapel pin that has like one bud.
Yeah.
And then it might have a bud with two smaller buds on it. And then it has one bud, two buds, and the year.
Yeah.
And then my dad's proudest achievement was he could go to the Sommelier Society of America and they would put out 4 glasses of wine. My dad would pick it up. It was amazing to watch. Okay, it's from France, obviously. Okay, it's definitely the south of France. I'm tasting this. I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to go with this year. And then somebody else would do it. And it was wild, too, because they had no idea. And they would try to punk them, too. They would put like a wine that was like, you know, from a box, wine box kind of thing. And if you could, can you imagine if somebody was able to, you know, take a puff of something and be like, oh yeah, this is definitely, I'm getting the taste of this, like a diesel. This is probably like a sour diesel. This is probably like an Oakland sour diesel.
The lemon terpenes.
Yeah, they could be like, they could actually break it down. And now you've become like the goal for those people. And then what you say to the dispensaries is like, listen, do you want to have somebody who's at the counter who's a cashier, or do you want to have somebody who's certified with us and who can sell 3 times as much product and get people the right product so they don't take their medicine and then get a headache as opposed to sleep, or they get amped up and they're trying to be creative and not be amped up, right? So I think you might be sitting on something that's got like 2 or 3 more levels to it. So it's super fascinating to me. Have you seen anybody else do any kind of certification of cannabis?
No, not product specific. So there are universities like Oaksterdam University that give classes around how to, you know, indica, more so science of it, but not product specific, and helping the brands to get their product message. Because of advertising is so restricted in this industry, and you have to guarantee that 70% of your audience is over 21, you know, brands need to use that point of sale person to be their person to speak for them.
You should really study the wine space. Go into the wine space and study it. Also, cigars is another area where, you know, you have things that were considered vices, tobacco and alcohol, but they were elevated to a level of elegance and refinement that cannabis eventually will. And if you become the certification of that, then it's much more than what are you going to get to certify a cannabis bud tender, do you think?
How much?
Yeah, how much per person?
We're charging $10 to $15 per person for the first year, and then
$10 to $15.
Yeah, $10 to $15.
come up with the $1,500 product.
Yeah. Okay.
Come up with the $1,500 product that makes me become the manager of the store, that makes me be able to open my own store or go to a store and say, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
If you bring in one of your, what's the name of your company again?
Budtender.
Budtender. If you bring on a budtender certified person, your stores sales are going to go up 10%.
Yeah.
And your store is set up wrong. You really need to set it up this way. Edibles, tinctures, whatever,
Yeah.
flowers,
Yeah.
etc. I'm getting a quick education on this because we have a company that went through the incubator called Kush Marketplace. And they are a marketplace, not for consumers, but for growers, processors, brands, etc. So I'm super fascinated by what you're doing.
There's also one more thing. There's also a lot of movement within the industry. So imagine if you are able to get to the point where you are the certifying body. Now you know all the people who are certified, right? And now, like big vision, push it out. Now you can kind of place people, charge for that placement, charge dispensaries for getting access to this large pool of employees who are certified at the highest level.
Yep.
So
yeah, don't undersell yourself is what we're saying. Like
Okay.
it could be a big play here.
Okay.
Like big, like who is the guy Mondavi who rates the wine, like the Mondavi rating system. Anyway, there's a rating system in wine where like they rate stuff. Like if your people became the raters, like the people who you certify then became the ones who then certified the bud and gave their, from on the top of the mountain said like, yes, this particular crop or this particular strain is just exceptional for these reasons. Like there could, and the certification process, that's what you're on to,
Yes.
is that these people need to be certified and that'll increase sales. And so as this professionalizes, people might just be like, we're making so much money. This person's so good with the customers. Let's get them certified and get that lapel pin that people start to recognize the lapel pin that means something. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thanks, Ebony.
Thanks, Ebony.